I'm Johnny Millennium, and this is Victor Lucas, and this is Film Fury. And today we're reviewing The Disaster Artist, starring James Franco and his brother Dave Franco. And I have something to admit, I didn't know Dave Franco was his brother in the movie. I was sitting there the whole time going, these guys look so alike, I can't believe it.
It is a bit weird. Absolutely.
But what's weirder is...
yeah, I guess it's in keeping with the weirdness of this whole project, right?
But what I'm getting to is... This movie, The Disaster Artist, it was a book based on this incredibly insane movie by Tommy Wiseau. That is incredible. You just have to see it. It's terrible. It's insane. It's everything. And Vic only watched it yesterday.
Yeah, it's called The Room, and I did watch it. There's a 10-minute video of me watching the movie. We cut all some sequences of my honest reactions as I'm watching it for the first time. So I was already excited about The Disaster Artist, but I saw The Room yesterday, and so I was incredibly excited to see this movie. James Franco smartly snapped up the rights of the book that Greg Sestero wrote.
Brilliant.
Which is based on his experiences making The Room with Tommy Wiseau, and it's an amazing story, and frankly, it's a better story than anything you can imagine about the making of The Room.
Yeah, you know, I saw the movie years ago, and everybody was talking about it. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch this movie. I was like, this is absolutely terrible, but it's so engagingly bad, and it's so like, you're always thinking about it. How did they screw up so bad? How is it this bad? And then I went on to see it 5 times. I would bring friends over. I made my wife watch it, and I have something to admit. I bought the Disaster Artist book, and I read it to my wife in bed, and I play Tommy Wiseau every night. You know, big Hollywood actor.
It's a labor of love, clearly, the movie about the movie. And I think that there's a recognition, almost a familial one. I mean, he's got his brother working with him, but he's also Franco, who snapped up the rights and is directing this movie. He also got Seth Rogen, who is a great friend of his. Judd Apatow has a cameo spot in this movie, a pivotal one, which is also a big part of both Seth Rogen and James Franco's past in there. So there is this kind of, I think, tip of the hat, this sort of show of respect to Tommy Wiseau's incredible impossible dream. And I think that's the heartwarming quality that you're thinking there. I mean, Wiseau built something that's impossible, and I think Franco understands that.
And I think all of us as human beings understand the story about wanting to succeed. And everybody telling you can't do it. And you go into do it yourself, and we all fail. Many of us have done that. I've made movies and nobody's enjoyed them, or some people have liked them, but you do it. It's the spirit of humanity that you have to try against the odds, and that's what this really is about.
And honestly, it's the American dream personified by this fearless, crazy
entity.
This dreamer. And to dream and to chase the dream is the whole idea behind America, and especially as portrayed in the movies. I think the movie really smartly gets that. There's a drive at the core of this in both cases. You know, I think in James Franco's desire to build something of merit and value with this movie, but also with the recognition of what Wiseau accomplished with The Room. And I mean, it's still being screened, and it's still being talked about. It's still being experienced for the first time by me yesterday.
It was insane to watch scenes in this movie of the scenes of that movie, and I thought, you can't believe this is big Hollywood movie now, but it's incredible. And you know, the thing about Tommy Wiseau is he's a tragic figure in a lot of ways, and I don't think a lot of people know this because I have been reading the book. Is he only mentions it at one point? Is that he got into a car accident? And we don't know what Tommy was like beforehand. Everybody laughs at Tommy now and all of that, but that's why I say it's a tragic figure.
In this movie, he clearly invests a lot of love and devotion into his friend, Greg Sestero, played by Dave Franco.
An unlikely friendship, really.
Right, and I feel like Sestero is the only one in his circle that actually shows him any empathy and any warmth and any kindness. And he kind of sort of latches onto that like some kind of a life preserver. He gets a little obsessed about it, and it's a little uncomfortable, but I think it feeds into what actually happened on set with The Room. And to see sort of the behind-the-scenes stuff played out in this movie, and then to recognize, that there were scenes kind of bounced or reflected from what actually occurred, it adds a lot of layers to all of this. And it doesn't necessarily make The Room a better movie.
No, and it doesn't want to be. I don't want it to be a better movie.
But can you imagine a better 1-2, collection for home video than The Disaster Artist and The Room packaged together?
Oh no, and then something else, a documentary, because they shot hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever seen this footage. It's all in Tommy's vault, and he won't let it out. That's what I want to see. I want to see the behind the scenes.
I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that this is going to be like rocket fuel for The Room being seen by a lot more people out there. And frankly, I think that's okay, because ultimately what this story is, it's about tilting at windmills. It's about sort of having a crazy dream that everybody tells you is impossible, right down to Greg Sestero's mother. Everybody says it.
Yeah.
And they do it. These crazy schmucks end up going to Los Angeles and just building this damn thing. And Seth Rogen, one of my favorite scenes in this thing is Seth Rogen takes a check to the bank to cash it.
And he's like,
is this thing going to clear? Is this going to cash?
And that's the thing
and
about
it does.
I know, and that's the whole thing. Tommy Wiseau is such a mysterious figure.
Yeah.
He had all of this money. Nobody knows how he got his money. Yeah. Nobody knows how old he is. Or is he actually from Europe? Nobody knows these answers still.
Yeah, and I wanted those questions answered, but the movie doesn't do that.
I like it better for Tommy Wiseau that he is this mysterious, as I say, entity. And we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to rate kind of the documentary style movie on the making of The Room.
I love this movie. I think it's one of the best of 2017. It was a wonderful trip. But the caveat is you have to see The Room before you see this. You cannot go see this without seeing The Room.
There's critics there who are like, well, I haven't seen The Room. I'm like, you're missing the point.
Critics aren't going to see The Room. We got to be honest, right? This was not a movie built for critics at all. But you, movie viewers, people that are going to go and spend some money for something crazy and wacky, you got to see The Room first, and then definitely go see this.
Yeah, and go with your friends and have a good time. Get a party together.
Yes.
See The Room, and then go and see The Disaster Artist. And I will be honest, I cannot believe this. I was getting choked up watching this movie. I mean, it welled so much emotion in me.
There's a lot of heart. And there's a lot of heart. Really well played by everybody involved. What are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Me too. 9 for me as well.